Order. Question number 5. Right Honourable Winston Peters.
This question is to the Prime Minister and asks, does he stand by all his statements?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, yes.
Well, when
Supplementary question, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Well, when he said, and I quote him, this government has already undertaken a range of work to protect the most vulnerable New Zealanders, end of quote, and that became an issue in the Northern electorate and in his own organisation, what did he do about it?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, well, one thing is the creation of 7,500 jobs with the goodwill of the commercial and business people of Northland since that statement, I think.
Point of order, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
That answer, with respect, has nothing to do with the question I put, which is going off his quote, to do with vulnerable New Zealanders.
Yeah, no, the question was, I can assist the member if he resumes his seat. The question finished was, so what's the Prime Minister doing about it? The Prime Minister then told the House. Supplementary question.
No, point of order. Mr Speaker, the Prime Minister gave this quote in a speech on family violence.
Order. The member will resume his seat. I have ruled that the question's been addressed. If the member wants to take further supplementaries to try and delve into the issue, I invite him to do so. But I will not take the member continually now questioning a ruling that I give in this House. Supplementary question, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
If the Prime Minister has said in a speech on family violence, this government has already undertaken a range of work to protect the most vulnerable New Zealanders, and that issue arises in the Northern electorate with connection to his own organisation, what did he do about it?
Right Honourable Prime
Mr
Minister.
Speaker, the government's taken a number of steps when it comes to protecting the most vulnerable from family violence. And we could list those for you, but they include everything from the work that Paula Bennett did when she was Minister of Social Development, right through the work that Anne Tolley is carrying on today.
Supplementary question, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
When the Prime Minister said in the same speech, quotes, a great example of this is the recent passing of the Vulnerable Children's Bill, which ensures that New Zealand's most at-risk children get priority, in quotes, and that became an issue in his own organisation in the Northern electorate. What did he do about it other than to try and cover it up?
Order. Insofar as the Prime Minister feels there's ministerial responsibility, he can answer the question. No. He doesn't have to.
Mr Speaker, the government's been working hard on a range of different issues, and vulnerable children is a great example of that, the work we're doing.
Supplementary question, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
When he said in the same speech to do with family violence, children at risk, vulnerable children, quotes, it is time we learned we must not ignore it, nor should we accept it, in quotes, and this became the issue in the Northern electorate within his own organisation and an MP in his own caucus.
Order.
What did he do about it other than to cover it up?
Order. I can see very little ministerial responsibility, but if the Prime Minister wishes to address that question, he can do so.
Well, Mr Speaker, in Northland there is a children's team that's been established there, and the government's doing great work in that area in Northland.
Point of order, the Right Honourable
Mr.
Winston.
Speaker, I'm asking the Prime Minister, and the question included the issue of allegations of family violence to do with his own organisation and his own caucus. I asked him for specificity and he's not given me anything at all.
Order, order, order. The member will resume his seat because you're asking the question of the Prime Minister in his ministerial responsibility. He doesn't have a ministerial responsibility for actions within his organisation or his caucus. Question number 6. Eugenie Sage.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.